The United States says that Iran and the P5+1 group of countries have extended the talks over a possible nuclear deal until July 7th. Based on a mutual understanding in Lausanne, the two sides were supposed to reach a final deal by June 30th. On Tuesday, Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif and the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry held fresh talks to try to reach a deal over Tehran's nuclear program. Zarif also held negotiations with the German counterpart Frank-Walter Steinmeier and the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The top Russian diplomat said that a nuclear deal with Iran is, quote, within reach. Iran's Foreign Minister is back in Vienna, along with the head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, Ali Akbar Salehi. Upon arrival in Vienna from Tehran, Foreign Minister Zarif told reporters that the negotiations have reached a very sensitive stage.
We want to reach a comprehensive, reasonable and balanced outcome. We will do our best. We have the political will and the intention, and I believe our negotiating partners have recognized the fact that only a balanced and respectable resolution and agreement is sustainable. Otherwise, the people of Iran will not accept it. And I think with that understanding, we can make serious headway and even reach a final conclusion in time.
The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Yuki Amano, also met Zarif at the Coburg Hotel. China's representative to the talks has told reporters that he is in Vienna to strike a deal and that the two sides are making progress. The French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius will later join the discussions. The lifting of anti-Iran sanctions and the inspection of the country's military sites appear to be the major unresolved issues. Homoletsky, our correspondent, joins us from Vienna. Homoletsky, the U.S. says there's an extension. Is there?
Right, Kaveh, I have to say that the statement that is attributable now to Mary Harf, the spokesperson of John Kerry, the State Department spokespersons, doesn't say specifically that the talks have been extended, but it does say that the measures that Iran has committed to under the joint plan of action that was agreed upon in Geneva back in November 2013 are going to be extended until the 7th of July to allow for the negotiations, the negotiating process rather, to move forward. However, we've been speaking to Iranian sources and diplomatic sources involved in the talks. They're still insisting that there is no set time limit or date or new deadline, basically, and that the only agreement now between Iran and the P5+1 is to continue the negotiations beyond the June 30th deadline. Now, why are we hearing this statement from the US? Well, when you look at it, the sides basically first had the Geneva Joint Plan of Action. Afterwards, they had the Lausanne framework. And there they said that their deadline would be the 30th of June. That is today. And since now they've reached the conclusion that they still need more time, they're announcing that the Joint Plan of Action, the measures under which the sides are going to continue those measures, basically Iran remaining committed to the limitations that it's imposed on its nuclear program according to the Joint Plan of Action, not the Lausanne framework, is going to continue those obligations. Also, the EU is going to leave the sanctions suspended as it had up until now, until the negotiations reach a stage where a comprehensive Joint Plan of Action can be reached. This could, of course, basically mean that at least the US is saying that it believes that by July the 7th there is going to be some kind of a conclusion. But as for Iranians, they say that they can't say that they're going to reach a conclusion by a specific date, but they are, of course, trying to make that happen in a matter of days, within the next few days, to reach a sustainable and a reasonable conclusion, as Mr. Zarif put it, for a comprehensive joint plan of action.
So at this point, are all the foreign ministers there? Or I think Laurent Fabius is the only one that's not there at this point. Or is that incorrect?
Kaveh, can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. The foreign ministers of all the countries, are they there, or are we missing one? I think Laurent Fabius is the only one that's not there. Or am I incorrect in saying that?
Okay, I've got a little problem hearing your voice properly, but I just got a gist of your question, of what you were saying there. If it was about the presence of the foreign ministers, right now a meeting was held just minutes before between the Iranian Foreign Minister Zarif and his German counterpart Frank-Walter Steinmeier, and the reporters here are all waiting outside Hotel Kabul for a probable statement to be made. We don't know yet whether it's going to be made by the German Foreign Minister or an EU or US representatives, possibly about a decision to extend these negotiations. We're still waiting for that to happen. We are expecting Laurent Fabius, the French Foreign Minister, and the British Foreign Minister, Philip Hammond, to join the negotiations. But as you said in the introduction to this live broadcast, the issue of access to Iran's military sites or non-nuclear sites is still a problem. The issue of sanctions removal and simultaneity is also still one of the challenges, it looks like, in the few days ahead.
Thank you very much for that. Homa Lezgi there, correspondent talking to us from Vienna.